People always used to say the main difference between the people trying to get it done versus the people getting it done came down to one thing. Who could raise more bread? Bread? Bread made the world go round. Kept people happy. Better yet, kept their pockets full. Everything spread smoothly, and nobody questioned it. But when a new tough guy came on the scene, everything changed. His name was Ian Murphano. Now I know what you're thinking. That motherfucker is not Italian. And you're right, he is definitely not Italian. We did not have that kind of budget. But that didn't matter, because Murphano, see, he was a man of simple principles. He was a real straight shooter, pulled right from the hip. See, Murphano had what couldn't be taught. He had that inherent sense of ambition, you know? Murphano had been taking his time, watching organized bread from the outside looking in. Back in those days, there were 3 big families that ran the organized bread syndicate. You had the Martininis, the Nature's Own Pinos, and the Baguettis. Now, Murphano may have not been blood, but he did what any proper Italian would do. Insert himself into any theoretical situation ever. If that was me running that operation, I'd be doing it differently. Or, to quote the great Seth MacFarlane, if that was me, they are lucky that was not me. See, Murphano wanted to be somebody. He wanted to be like those movie stars, the ones with the fancy cars and the haircut that was clearly an indication of what was popular at the time but didn't really hold up in the present, and then 15 years later everyone's like, oh my god, do you remember your ridiculous haircut in that movie? And they'd be like, yeah, that thing was crazy, but no one would really care that much because of the fucking haircut. Yeah, like one of those people. So we started making moves. Now Murphano, he needed somebody serious, a supplier with good products, but not somebody everybody knew about. Murphano wasn't a nobody. He knew some guys who might know some guys. So we made a couple calls. And after a while, Murphano found his guy. Now this guy, nobody even knew his name. But this guy was the real deal. He always had what you need. Sourdough, baguettes, ciabatta. One phone call, he was there. The first time he ever showed Murphano the product, it was like coming downstairs on Christmas morning. Except this time, you lived at the North Pole. Oh yeah. This was the beginning, the start of a new relationship, the start of Murphano's empire. The operation was simple. Someone picked up the dough at point A, took it to the bread ovens at point B, the dough got baked, sliced, and sold, and then it landed in the customer's hand at point C. Believe me, it didn't take long before Murphano's bread was the hottest on the streets. Everybody wanted it. Some people needed it. One way or another, dough was getting raised, and bread was getting sliced. With his money clean and half a city hall in his pocket, Murphano became the biggest distributor of illicit bread on the East Coast. People were happy, business was booming. These were the good times. With the success of the bread operation, Murphano started to expand the business into other, avenues, if you will. That's when they really started bringing in the dough. With his business diversified and protection around his brand, Murphano became one of the most powerful men in America. But as you know, too much unchecked power can start to get to you. Murphano became paranoid, thought one of his own men would turn on him. When he found out one of his main guys, Sammy Lupino, was skimming off the top, well, let's just say Murphano dealt with him swiftly. He was taking the end pieces of the baguettes for himself, which is kind of weird because, like, you can't really do anything with that. You can't even really make sandwiches with those. I mean, I guess you could just eat them straight up, but that's about it. I don't know. Yeah. But that's what he was doing. He was taking the end pieces. So, anyway. Look, I know what you're thinking. Just another gangster movie, he's gonna whack him, that's it. Well, think again, bozo. Whacking him would have been mercy compared to what Murphano pulled. Lupino violated the cardinal rule of the bathroom. Always check the roll before dropping it in the bowl. Some people say Lupino stayed in the bathroom for 5 hours before finally giving in and using his hand. Poor bastard. These were the dark times. In the aftermath of the Lupino bathroom incident, the Murphano empire started to implode from the inside out. Murphano didn't know who he could trust, and he was right. One day, one of his own guys slipped him something in his drink. Poison? No, a laxative. See, some of the guys knew Murphano was a socially conscious pooper. He wouldn't go if there were people in his house. He tried to make a break for his car, find somewhere private, but, well, he was out of time. Ian Murphano shit himself right there in that driveway. Like, completely, through and through. Craziest thing was, there was nobody in his house. Those things take like 45 minutes to kick in. The dude who put it in there was like long gone. He literally could have just gone in his house, but, well, that's not what happened. After the driveway conundrum, the Murphano empire was no more. But that's just how the bread game goes. One powerful group comes in, has their run, gets too arrogant, and when they go down, another group moves in. The one simple fact of organized bread. Empires always fall, but bread always rises.